Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of TFG Radio. As you can see in my uh, computer lab, I guess, if you're watching on Twitch,
In your Dexter's laboratory.
yeah.
That was for
Adam
you
once
millennial
again.
listeners.
As you can, as you can hear, John is once again on the wheel of steel as he's painting.
Yeah. Look at all these Deathwing Terminators. They're not any good, right?
No, they're
Right.
terrible.
This is just a
Throw that
fluff
on the
list, right?
trash.
This is
Yeah.
a total fluff list. I
Going
think.
for going for the wooden spoon. I see.
Yeah, wooden spoon. I'm looking to get a good paint score. I'm looking to get like a theme score. Some sportsmanship stuff. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And we also have Danny tonight.
Hey.
And surprise, we do not have Tom. No Tom. We are Tomless.
I mean, do we want to put money on the over/under even shows up for battle this weekend?
I wouldn't mind that because currently we have 70 players.
Well, I thought it
That's a
capped
lot.
at 60 something.
There's no brakes on the Battle for LA train, apparently.
How did you get 70 players when it's capped? Doesn't BCP turn off the sales?
Yeah, but you can still add people in
Well, why did you add more people?
because the manager wanted to add more people. We have 5 more tables.
We do?
Yeah.
All right, well, that's cool. Hey, as long as we have the tables, that's all I care about. Whatever.
Are they going to play outside? Like,
No. We'll play inside. We'll see how many we get.
I'm assuming the
Overall.
manager also cleaned up some space to make room for the tables?
I'll find out tomorrow on Friday when I have to go over there and help set up.
All right, then. Good to know.
So
Good talk.
we'll see. But yeah, so that's this weekend. If for those that don't know, I did go to Adepticon this past weekend to help judge their 40K champs, not the finals, but the champs the first day, and then
not
I judged
teams,
the.
right?
Huh?
You didn't do teams either?
I did teams.
Oh, you did do teams. Okay.
That was Saturday and Sunday.
Got it.
So the format was 4 games on Thursday. Friday was the top 16, which I didn't have to do. The head judge just monitored all that himself.
Well, yeah, that's manageable. You mean the judge didn't keep score for everybody?
No.
Excuse me. The judge is supposed to be keeping score for everybody.
Oh my God, no. And then Saturday and Sunday, I just helped with the team events.
So, how was the difference between Adepticon, which is a much more casual affair, than the FNG event?
Okay, so this leads into one of the things I wanted to talk about is basically for those of you that do TO events, it's basically how to be when you're not the head judge and you're helping other people with their events. This might be important. Huh?
Did you almost get fired for overstepping
No,
your bounds?
I did not.
Oh, that'd be a better story. I want that to be the story.
I do have a story,
Yay!
but it's not about me getting fired.
Oh.
So one of the main things I think I took away from this is just one, be respectful of the head judge, whoever they may be, even if you disagree with what they may be doing. At Adepticon, it's more of a casual competitive event.
Are
There's
you talking
people
about
still there to
the
win.
players being respectful, or the other judges being respectful?
No, being respectful to the head judge especially, because you're there as a guest.
As a player or as a judge?
Well, it should be both, but as a judge, if someone asks you to come help judge an event for them, you should be respectful to the main judge, especially when it comes to
I don't know, Danny. I feel like this is a thinly veiled Adam story.
Especially when it comes to decisions you may not agree with. And we'll get into that.
Okay, continue.
So, what did you do, Adam?
Yeah, so what did you do?
So I didn't do anything. I
Yeah. So, okay, what did your friend do?
Yeah.
my friend didn't do anything. but part of that and part of like I said, so Adepticon, their singles event is not the main event for the convention. It's actually their teams event. It's a 4-man team event. Each man is 1,000 points, 2v2, and that is the marquee event for Adepticon.
I thought the marquee event was Monpok.
Oh my God.
No?
Yes.
War Machine?
So the first thing I did when I arrived, I started to ask a lot of questions just to get a feel of how different they do things than what I'm used to. So one of the things they do not active judge. So basically, if the player asks for help, then we help, but we don't.
If
We
you
don't
see
interfere.
An issue, you don't bring anything up.
We don't interfere if we don't need to. I think that was the biggest issue. There are some differences in how they made some rulings, which is fine because every place is different.
Yeah, no problem.
But it more or less was just that they did do more. They did do a hard dice down, so they did, and they do not allow people to talk the turns out. At least they're not supposed to.
Not officially allowed.
Yes, because a couple of people did ask, and when they did, we told them that it's
not allowed.
Don't talk it out. If someone wants to talk it out and you don't want to, then call a judge over.
Cool. Okay.
And there were instances where someone were like, well, hey, can I roll for my psychic interrogation? And they're like, no, time's up.
Yeah, I mean, if that's how it goes, that's how it goes.
Yeah, that's fine. And what I noticed was that the scores were actually put in fairly quickly.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's part of the reason why is that they did more or less a hard dice down as opposed to giving some leeway to players to finish up their turn or whatever.
Okay, that's cool.
Like I said, a couple differences in how rulings are made, especially with Angron was the big one. But it wasn't really that big of an issue. If anyone saw pictures of the event, the terrain, although more three-dimensional, so a little better, but it was still light compared to other events. Each player had about 4 pieces each. I think each player had at least one forest, but they had a lot of terrain that was not breachable.
Interesting.
And there was a lot of variety. Some had GW buildings. Some were just resin buildings that almost like the Necron tables where you can't go in, except you can't go in them.
Right.
So there was a lot of variation in the types of table, but they were all kind of similar in that there was not a lot of places to hide. So it was really beneficial to shooting armies to play on that terrain.
Okay. Yeah.
So still a little bit of a step up, but I think the new TO Matt is working to make it a little better and more defined, as well as have maybe a little bit more of active judging, because there were instances of issues with lists and things like that, or people using war gear that they didn't have in their list, but we weren't allowed to do anything because it wasn't brought to our attention by the player.
Huh. That's interesting. Okay.
Yeah. So I think they may want to. I think they're going to look at that and see if they can do a little bit more active judging, but we'll see. They have a whole year to work it out. So
yeah, who knows? In 10th, maybe you don't have to list anything at all with these new rules for how you make your lists. Maybe you just get to bring whatever you want each game.
I know, right?
Wild West.
So that was day one was pretty cool. They for their cutoff for top 16, they had a paint requirement. Okay. So they judged everyone. They judged everyone for paint. You could drop out. You could not do it if you don't want to, but you assume you're not going to get into top 16.
Right. So you can't opt out and make it into the top 16.
Right. So you had to have a minimum paint score in order to make it into the top 16.
That's fun. That's cool.
And there was at least one person who went 4-0 and did not make it because his painting was not the minimum score.
Get good.
So,
I mean, look at me over here. I'm painting. It's not even for a major. Just painting for a GT. which is the new RTT.
So, yeah. So I understand the judges, the judges who did the paint judging went to this person's army not once but like multiple times, from what I understand, to maybe try and find something to like get him the extra points to get in.
Hey man, you're 4-0. Let's try to see if we can get you in this after all. Oh, nope, still trash.
Yeah, so
should have tried to find a friend with a better painted army and swap in some models.
Yeah, so that person was upset, but at the same time, if you know what the requirements are, and there is a rubric that I believe is public, you should make that minimum score. Yeah. So,
get good.
Yeah. So that was day one. Day two, I had a day off. Got to sleep in.
Sleep in.
So I did have a roommate for the event, Jim. He was a very good roommate, much better than some roommates I've had recently. Not to name names.
Yeah, Tom.
Danny, Jackson.
I've done nothing wrong. I've done nothing wrong.
But yeah, so I got to sleep in a little bit, and they did the Long War doubles on Friday, as well as the top 16.
Is the Long War doubles different than their team event? Yeah, because their team event's not doubles; it's teams of 5.
Yeah, their team event is 4 players. The doubles is obviously doubles.
Got it. Cool.
So real quick, in regards to the 40K champs, Nassim I think his last name is Faucini, from the UK, came over and he won the champs, playing against a player from Germany. One playing Votan, the other one playing Guard.
What?
So Guard won the event by going first, obviously.
We let Euros win an event on our land? What the heck?
Yes.
In Chicago?
Yes.
And the Mafia didn't whack them?
If they would have been before the event.
Oh, right.
Or before the finals.
I'm not well versed in how the Mafia works.
I'm
German, not Italian.
So I spent most of the day walking around, looking at demos, looking at games. I picked up a lot of little business cards, pamphlets, other stuff. And I spent a lot of money on games, so there's a lot of games that we're going to play in the near future once I get the models painted.
Sure.
So there's a lot of games that'll be in your garage for 20 years?
No. These ones we could play, because some of them only need like 5 models per side.
Oh, well, that's nice. So this is Mech Warrior?
Well, that's on Kickstarter, which is at 4.5 million right now.
So I'm still fuzzy on that one. Mech Warrior's the RPG, and Battletech's the miniature game.
Yes.
And same universe.
Same universe.
And which one kickstarted?
Mech Warrior. It's their new expansion.
Okay, got it.
Which is including vehicles, infantry, and infantry.
I can roleplay as a vehicle? I can identify as a tank?
Sure.
Cool.
I'm not going to stop you.
All right. Heard it here first, everybody. Adam's not going to stop me from identifying as a tank.
So I bought a game called Heavy Gear, for those that remember. It's basically Battletech competitor that's more anime-inspired robots as opposed to like clunky robots that Americans make. I bought that. I bought one called...
Big robot.
Big robot. There's another big robot game coming out later this year called Neo Genesis, I think, and it's developed by Andy Chambers and Gav Thorpe.
It's a GW game?
No, it's not. But so it's going to have lots of charts.
Yeah, I was going to say, so it's just charts the game.
Directions unclear. Please revise.
Yeah, that's later this year. But all I grabbed from them was like a pamphlet and a business card. I got this game called Lunar, which is fighting on the moon in the 1960s.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I've read a couple sci-fi novels where that's like the basis, like alternate history novels where that's the thing.
Yeah, it's an alternate history where Russia lands on the moon first,
And claims it.
And then America puts like a science calling on it, and then all the other countries, because there's Americans, Russians, Chinese, and like mercenaries and UN forces.
Well, but in the 1960s, there's only 2 countries that could push somebody on the moon. That's ridiculous. Far-fetched.
Excuse me, it's alternate timeline.
Far-fetched.
It's a game about fighting Soviets on the moon, dude.
Zero-
I don't know
zero
how
of 10.
much you're trying to really dig into this.
0 of 10 would not play.
They also have a couple other games that are interesting. Like they have basically a slasher game.
Okay.
Where you run away from different movie slasher tropes.
Just the tropes.
Yeah, they have some type of spy game. And they also make pre-colored MDF terrain.
That's fun.
Or pre-painted. So I bought that. I bought a game called Flint and Feather, which is a historical game for Great Lakes Native Americans.
Oh, interesting.
That sounds
And
cool.
I bought a game about rollerblading.
What?
You did what? now?
Sorry, roller derby. Sorry.
Oh, okay, never mind. That's fine.
No, that's just.
I only bought it because for $5 extra they threw in some figures. So
I mean,
I mean, roller derby's cool as hell. I don't know if
Yeah.
I want to play a mini game about it, but it's definitely cool as hell to watch.
I mean.
well, you're gonna have to. I need someone to play
Is
with.
it?
God damn it. This
I
is
think
what I
there's-
get for being able to learn the rules faster
Yep.
than
Yes,
anybody else.
that's
Yep.
literally the
I'm
only
a
reason.
guinea
That's
pig.
why. 'Cause I can't learn the rules fast. My
Um,
dumbass sister and be like, "What do I do now? How many D whats?"
I think there's still a league that runs of roller derby.
Roller derby's still a thing. I have some friends that do that.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't get it, but sure, whatever.
I bought that. Did I buy anything else? I can't remember. It's all a blur at this point.
I mean, that's also fair.
But you got some Giordano's, right?
I did. That was on Sunday or Saturday.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. So I had actual authentic Chicago pizza pie.
Nice.
It was really good.
That's good times. That's good times right there.
So, Saturday, Sunday was the teams, and I can see why that's like the marquee event. People actually dress up. There are a few people dressed up as Templars, and they were all in plain Black Templars. There was a group of 4 that were dressed up as orcs. There was a Harlequin troop, which showed way too much skin, for my taste, anyway.
Male, female.
So they were guys. That's what you're just saying.
Yes. I didn't want
I've
to
never
judge.
known you to really have a problem with that, but
I did say for my taste.
yeah, that's fair. I mean,
I don't
you know,
judge.
in matters, and the customer's always right in matters of taste.
Yeah. So there was a lot of nice displays, a lot of nice armies. It was a real fun. The story I do have is not about me; it's about players, as always, or almost always. I was called to a table. One player claimed that the other player wanted to make a pile-in and consolidate move at one time, so basically move 6 inches. But they did not move their model during the pile-in phase.
Okay.
The opposing player said that he told them that he had enough move, and that he would just move them at the end of it, and that he agreed. And the first player said he doesn't remember that.
So he said, she said. That's always fun.
But that's not the interesting part of the story, at least to me.
Okay.
The interesting part to me was as soon as I got there, every sentence included the F word in it as they were talking and yelling at each other.
Okay.
So for clarity, were they using the expletive at each other or just in their dialogue?
In their dialogue, so not at each other, but still.
Interesting.
And what's funny was that the partners just kept playing, trying to ignore that.
Are they Italians from New Jersey?
No.
Okay.
At least I don't think so.
Were they New
didn't-
Yorkers?
I don't know.
Were they Boston Irish?
No.
I take it they weren't SoCal Latinos.
They were not.
Excuse me, that's racist.
I'm saying a lot of people swear and just say, were they Cuban?
No.
well, you never know. I mean,
No.
just saying, there's a lot of cultures where that kind of
So-
behavior is.
No, I know.
So
Of course.
because Adepticon does not use the frontline code of conduct, there's not much I could do. So I just grabbed Matt, who's the head judge, to come over. As soon as Matt gets there, they act as cordial as you can be.
Power of the head judge.
So Matt resolves it by basically having them roll a DC. He Jervises it.
Okay.
Which
Well,
is-
to be fair, that's the only way to do it when it's a he said, she said. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. How many times have we done that before?
Yeah, and that's
Amen.
fine. I just thought it was hilarious of their attitudes and sudden change. The only time I ever see that is when the police are involved,
So Matt's got a good rep, huh? I like it.
and I have a couple stories about that too.
We should see if Matt wants to help Judge LVO if that's his rep. That's a good one. I like it.
So that was the story. It was actually pretty chill. Not too much. Not the same. Like I said, not the same intensity as LVO or almost any of the other frontline events.
Well, it's different though, right?
It's different. I mean, it was fine. I had a lot of fun checking out the booths. Unfortunately I did not get to play Shatterpoint because they were handing out tickets like going on a ride at Disneyland, and I got one, and they ran out of tickets within the first 15 minutes.
It's like a Hollywood premiere over there, huh?
Yeah.
It was. I mean, everything I saw on Twitter was that people waiting hours for their chance.
Wow.
Yeah.
Guys,
so
it's just Star Wars. It's not even a Baby Yoda in it.
well,
No,
Baby
that's
Yoda's going to
coming.
be in it.
Everybody calm down.
They already have that model made and painted.
Everybody just calm the fuck down.
I mean, they have Ewoks. They have Ewoks, man.
Yeah, I don't really care about that.
There were a lot of people that I knew from Southern California or the West Coast that were there also. So I got to say hi to a bunch of people.
That's cool. That's always nice.
A lot of people said hi to me and about listening to the show,
Nice.
which was surprising because I got a lot more at that here at Adepticon than I do at any of the other events.
Maybe it's because you're out of your element.
Maybe.
Someplace they didn't expect you to be.
That could be true. But it was still nice. It was nice meeting there. It's always nice meeting everybody and talking with people and things like that nature. So it's always fun. I had a good time. Unfortunately, I had to cut it a little bit short because I had to actually work on Mondays, be at work on Monday. So
Right.
I had to come back Sunday night.
Stupid job getting in the way of everything.
I know.
What the hell is this work for a living bullshit?
I always tell everybody, you should at least go to the big three, which is LVO, Adepticon, and Nova,
Once.
at least once. So that's my suggestion. If you haven't been, then you should go. It's a lot of fun. There's a lot to see, and a lot of companies, like we're going to talk about, make their big announcements at Adepticon.
Right.
Speaking of which, let's talk about the reveals. So the big one is one of the big ones is the lion.
Seraphon. Wait,
We're not going to talk about Seraphon, Danny. Nobody except you cares. At least on this show.
There are
There's
dozens
only three of
us.
us.
Goddammit.
We are Legion. We
So-
are tens.
The lion.
The lion.
So the lion was revealed. Everyone kind of knew who it was. Unfortunately for John, it was not the Celestial Lions chapter
God. Or Luther Ascendant. That would have been
or
hilarious.
Luther.
I'm telling you, it would have been hilarious.
It would have, but
Just to watch that Valrek guy explode on Twitter, it would have been worth it.
so thoughts? We also saw some of his rules. So
Yeah, I think it's.
Yeah, they previewed a bunch.
I don't think his rules
He's a
are
beast.
like super awesome, but I think he'll be fun to play. I don't.
Yeah, I think
it depends on what he buffs, right, Danny?
Yeah, I mean, it seems like at least in the article, the way they kind of mentioned or talked about is that he is much more of a self-contained, just murder machine, and Gilliman is more of a buff piece, right? So I don't expect him to have any kind of, or at least too many crazy auras or things like that. I think he really is just just dishes out 20, damage to attacks, right? Like he's just
he's just doing 40 damage.
Deathwing Terminators. Yeah, I mean, he's a what did I say? He's an Omega level threat, melee threat in Imperium, which you don't have a lot of.
He does this. If you're watching, he does that.
Exactly.
Now that's 30K. That's 30K Lion, but this is what he does. And then they do this, and then he goes and murders things. I just gave you all Supreme Lion Grand Strategy.
Yeah.
I mean, based on what we know he does. I mean, the whole, he can deep strike and reroll charges out of deep strike is okay, I guess, but I don't know why you would ever really need to.
Works for Adepticon.
Yes, and if you get the, bonus charge aura from the chaplain, that's good.
So, if he doesn't buff the rest of your army, why not?
Just because I feel like he's a better countercharge piece, because if you're relying on the deep strike, it's easy to screen it out. I mean, again, playing World Eaters where deep strike is life, it's just your big threats can be screened out, and a good player can really mitigate what that guy's doing. But having him on the board as a center bully unit forces your opponent to react in ways they don't want to, which is either having to try and kill him or ceding the center, which against Death Guard means against Deathwing means you're going to lose.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, that's true. Well, in the current rule set, we'll see what happens.
Yeah, so God knows what it'll look like in 10.
But no, I understand what you're saying.
Yeah.
I don't know when he comes out, but he'll be good for that 1 month.
My guess is late April.
I mean,
he might be a perfect birthday gift, guys.
Yeah, he must come out soonish if they're already showing his box and stuff, right?
Yeah, because they have to. Was it Farsight is the last. That goes Farsight, Arcs of Omen, which comes out this weekend, doesn't it?
I think so.
And then it's going to be the Lion, which ends the Arcs of Omen season, and and then
ends 10th edition, or ends 9th edition.
Yeah, so he should come out late April. Like I said, great birthday gift. Just saying, guys.
Hint, 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 hint.
I already got you a birthday gift, Danny. Stop it.
Oh, here's the simp, by the way. So,
are y'all talking about the Lion?
Hey,
we're just finished. So moving on.
Nah,
Yay.
We just started. Don't be like that. Don't be so mean.
I'm only here so Adam doesn't bust my balls about not being on.
You already did.
technically not on.
You missed that part of the show.
Yeah, fair enough.
All right, Tom, I'm going to give you 45 seconds. Go.
About the Lion?
Yeah.
Model's fantastic. I love Primarch Charles Dance.
Excuse me, Onion Knight.
Onion Knight also excellent. Or the Green Knight, Arthurian, right? I don't know. My biggest problem is I don't know what sculpt of head I'm going to use, and I'm not good at magnetizing heads. I know you told me how to, but that doesn't mean I can do it.
The head's pretty big. I bet you could do it.
I'm just kind of more excited to see how he interacts with the Legion as a whole, and I also wonder if his return means they're going to revamp how Dark Angels are organized. It would be interesting, especially given that's totally who he is.
Whoa, what the hell? What the heck is that?
Tom's done now. I said 45
You said a timer?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were boomering it over there.
I thought somebody was trying to listen to that K-pop nonsense.
Hey, man,
Speaking of boomerang,
midlife crises hit us all differently, okay?
We've talked about this. Our generation doesn't get those.
Yeah.
We don't have enough money to have a midlife crisis.
I thought it was because we already had.
Travel the soul.
I thought it was because we already had first and second crisis, and now we're looking for afternoon crisis.
Those are
supper
real life
crisis.
crisis. Boomers' midlife
those are
crises
market
weren't
crisis.
real crises. Those were made up crises.
Yeah.
They made up in their heads.
Long story short, I would totally see the Lion being like, screw this Codex bullshit. My Legion, all my Successor Chapter boys come back to me, and we're gonna go rock the stars.
Did you guys see the thing where like it talks about he's gonna like try to go and get his fallen back too?
Yep.
Yeah, that was
that
interesting.
seems like
I saw
that's
that
going to be
interesting bit of fluff. That was cool.
Well, to be fair, like the Fallen are kind of like the Legion of the Damned, of like this kind of like cool, but you really can't build an army out of it, and they don't want to, I guess, dedicate resources to really fleshing it out. So like, Army of the Damned's gone. That's sometimes in fluff, and now it's like, cool, the Fallen are gone because Daddy's home and brought all the wayward babes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not knocking the storyline. I think it's kind of a cool way to do it.
I mean, it makes sense, especially if he's like, look, I forgive you. It was 10,000 years ago.
Right.
Can we all agree that like the Tyranids need to die before we go back to this argument?
Right.
As long as y'all don't got 3 eyes or follow a bastard named Luther, you're good.
I mean, I could see the line even forgiving Luther.
Ooh.
In the fluff, Luther's pretty fucking crazy. So like, he might just be like, oh yeah, okay,
Hey,
dad/lover. Okay, Zaddy.
Wow.
Zaddy.
Wow.
Oh, that's exactly what that story is, and you know it.
Can't believe
No, they're
We don't
just
need to-
friends.
We don't need to interrogate where the literal name Lionel Johnson comes from.
They're just friends.
Right.
Oh
Yeah,
my
like
God,
the
they're
way Emily-
roommates.
Yeah.
like Emily Dickinson writing to her friend of
Right.
I licked the envelope just to have a taste of your lips again. That's
Hey,
friends.
Look, dude,
Yeah,
they're
that's
roommates.
friends.
All right, they're really good roommate friends.
With benefits.
We don't talk about that part in history.
We done?
I don't know.
Yeah,
Is Tom done?
I'm done.
This is Tom's
All
moment.
right. That was a long 45 seconds.
It was worth it.
So we got the lion back. Don't care about Siege of Lithonia. Don't care about Kill Team was interesting
Was it?
because they brought Beastmen. They're bringing Beastmen back.
I never even knew they
See,
were a
that's
part of
where
40K.
That's
Now
where
I
they're
can
going to
have
do
my-
the weird stuff.
Now I can have my Pestigores and my Slangors and my Corngors.
Does anybody know what this guy's talking about?
Danny
Sadly,
knows.
yes.
It sounds like
Yeah.
it sounds like food you get at a bad steak carnival.
You could also just play Age of Sigmar and play Beastmen. Same.
No. I'll stick to my roller derby game.
See-
That's hateful as hell.
See, Beastmen are kind of cool to me as a faction, but my only real interaction with them is from Total Warhammer, and they always just roll over like a bitch in that game. So it's like I feel no impetus to try to play them on the tabletop.
I
I
feel
mean,
like
for
that's
a
how
long
they
time
were
in fantasy, that was very true.
Yeah, that's what I was trying to
Yeah.
say.
Well, that's all they're there
I
for.
felt like in fantasy they were never very good, except for like when they first came out, right, Danny?
They had a few moments in the sun, but it was, with their army mechanic to basically deep strike and outflank and shit like that. But
Yeah.
they never really could hold up to the real heat, right? Like it's just they were too squishy and actually didn't hit hard enough.
Yeah.
So but they're pretty good in AOS actually. That's probably the strongest they've ever been. Is in AOS.
Nice. Okay.
But anyway, Kill Team is like going to be cool because that's where they're going to put like the Fallen or Legion of the Damned. They're going to just be like, here's this cool little box. It didn't take us much to make, and there's probably enough people who will be like, oh, that's cool, buy it. They make their money, move on. They don't have to support it for like a full army.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Except there's gonna be that person that buys all the Kill Team boxes of that army and then builds it. Dang, all your guys look kind of the same. Yeah, it's because I bought the same Kill Team box 30 times.
Well, more
And
power to that guy. I
GW
guess.
is sitting there. Yeah. GW is like, that's what we're hoping for.
Yeah,
Yeah.
GW is like, wow, that's so great, honey. Good for you.
Our
Then they
business
have-
model is a few minnows.
Danny
and
needs to
3
buy that
whales.
box. I mean, Tom needs to buy that box for his Votan army.
The only reason being because there's a dude in there who's carrying like a straight up high-last rotary cannon like he's in Aliens 2. Or Aliens, I guess. And there's also a jump pack Votan in
Yeah.
there too, which
So
I saw that and I was like, okay, there's a new kit coming out for them.
So he's proving our point.
Yeah. Yes. Yes, because
Or
the
he's
guy who
proving his
just
own
said
point, I
that
guess.
also bought 3 boxes of Votan box.
I regret nothing. I regret not a damn thing.
That's true.
So we got the new edition coming out, as almost everyone predicted. Since it is on that 3-year cycle right now, it seems, same with Age of Sigmar.
It's been that way for years now.
Yeah, it's been that since 8th was introduced. And we've also gotten a few tidbits about it, such as building your army. So let's go over a few of them.
This is actually why I wanted to be here today, because
Yeah,
I thought
sure.
that was... It's cool. The whole list building thing they released today.
It is cool.
So what do you guys? I know Danny, I think, likes the new data cards.
Oh yeah, I mean, I like AOS, so the data cards make things real easy
All right,
to
so
remember.
this game's already
to-
trash.
As long as it works
Whatever.
correctly, the way they're saying, as long as it does
Savage.
cut back on the bloat of the rules, I'm all for it.
And USRs are back.
Which,
I mean, they never left, really.
right, because we all
At
keep
least
using
not-
those names.
at
Like,
least
even
not the
players who
players.
started in, like, 8th and 9th know the USR rules because we just kept using the names.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And they
Yeah,
even admitted that in the article or in the interview about the
Yeah.
new edition.
I mean, I think the most ubiquitous one being Feel No Pain, right?
Right.
Well,
Yeah.
it's all of them: the Strike First and Feel No
Deep
Pain,
Strike.
Deep Strike.
Mm-hmm.
Apparently, the vehicle rules are changed and monster rules are quote unquote streamlined.
Okay.
I mean, the vehicle rules were already heavily streamlined, so
Which is good.
I don't know what else they're going to do besides letting them go through terrain.
No, in terms of like, there's only one single line on each card.
I would
And
like
then
Oh,
it-
so the weapon profiles degrade.
Oh,
Probably because it explains the penalties incurred when a certain wound threshold is reached. So there's no little chart. It sounds like they just tell you what happens when it's this many wounds, when this threshold is reached.
interesting.
Negative. Oh, you're at whatever 5 to 9 wounds, -1 to hit,
Yeah.
-1 strength,
Mm.
whatever.
Okay.
That's
I would
simpler,
prefer to
to be fair.
Kool-Aid Man my vehicles, but that's fine.
God, I hope the terrain is better I hate the interaction of 9th edition of, hey, I have this vehicle, cool. You physically can't go places. So
Yeah, I don't know.
Fun.
They haven't teased that part yet. The terrain rules, which is probably the most important for a lot of people, especially for
Yeah.
TOs. And then they have the new stat called Objective Control,
mm-hmm.
which I think
Love
is
it.
per model.
It's per model.
Yeah.
So I think,
wounds almost.
yeah. So the idea of like objective secured is gone, but some models are just more control-y than others. So like frontline troops, for example, probably have a higher OC count per model than like say elites.
You mean battle line troops?
Battle line, sorry.
AOS term.
I know.
I know. I just threw up in my mouth.
Is this the addition of Danny just saying, "Hey, that's from AOS"
Yes,
Yes.
apparently.
for the entire?
Smugly.
Yep.
Smugly.
I'm gonna have to.
No,
I'm gonna
I
have to bleep. I'm gonna have to bleep it out like a curse word so people can figure out what he's actually saying.
That's funny. You should do that. KR Quinn, yes. I have like 40 paintbrushes. And I have all GW paints because that's what I use. I don't think we've ever talked about that on the show, like what we used to paint before. But yeah, I pretty much just use GW paints.
And you paint from the pot.
This is a contrast,
So do
but
I.
I do paint from the pot, yes.
Yeah. What do you
put
put
a
it on
little-
the palette first?
You know what? If it's in the pot, I do not. But I also use army painter. I use Vallejo.
Yeah, no, I don't use any of this.
I use a lot of different brands of paints.
Oh, I
I've
have.
used-
Oh, I have this. But I've never opened it, and I got it in a grab bag.
Wow.
Oh,
Are you painting infiltrators right now?
Yeah, because I realized I have 5 infiltrators for my list on Saturday. I'm actually trying out how I want to. I'm thinking I want to do the lion's armor, where I spray paint it black, dry brush it with bone, and then contrast Dark Angel's green.
That sounds incredibly big brain to me, and I hate that.
It's not as good as I was hoping. It's way more green, but I need to see it dry on the black first.
Because when I was looking
Try
at his
doing,
paints,
like,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say when I was looking at
What I was
like
doing.
close-ups of that model, your dick, it looked like it was a black dark green glaze that they threw on the armor.
Yeah, or just the highlights. I don't know. So we'll see. But yeah, so this will be my test for how I want to paint my lion.
You should try and do one arm on them, like instead of using bone, use a medium gray.
Yeah, it's too late.
That might bleach into the darker better than the bone.
I think I'll do that on another set of. I have plenty of like Space Marines lying around that are for Edwin's Darkwing or Deathwing, Dark Angels, whatever the hell this army's called. So I'll probably try that on another one because gray probably would work better. I also think I went too heavy-handed on the dry brush. It should have been way lighter. So, but anyways, yeah, I'm a simp for GW paints. That's all I've ever used.
I also have the Pro Acrylic paints.
I like Pro Acrylics white. I feel like it's just the best for dry brushing and stuff like that.
You mean the lighter colors?
Yeah.
They're all talking.
Their white is really good.
This all sounds like voodoo to me.
So one of the things we saw was basically how to build an army.
Mm-hmm.
Muster in your army. Select the battle size. There's 3 sizes, which is funny because it says there are now 3 main army sizes, which there were 3 main army sizes before. Which is basically the 1,000, 2,000, and 3,000 points.
Okay. I see what you're saying.
But they never really released onslaught rules after a while. It was basically just Strike Force and Incursion in the last couple competitive and
They never put out missions for onslaught. It's always been Incursion and Strike Force. Onslaught was just like, hey, if you want to play 3,000 points,
Those bastards lied to me.
choose a faction. I guess there's detachment rules now.
And I think the point is there's like not. So it's like you have your faction, and then your faction has access to any number of specific detachment types, but they're not detachments like in the way we know of them. They feel like more like mini armies of renown.
Yeah, because they're talking about the Gladius Strike Force.
Yeah.
How do
But they're now not limited to just Ultramarines.
Right. What I don't know is if like armies like Ultramarines, Iron Hands, etc., are still going to have their own particular rules as a sub-faction that then also get applied to whatever is going on with like a Gladius task force.
Right.
Okay, but how do I take Tau and Eldar together?
You don't.
You don't.
Okay.
They actually made it clear that pretty much there's no allies with the exception of demons, brood brothers, and knights.
Yeah.
Excuse me?
Boo.
Knights?
Boo.
Somebody say knights.
Yeah, so guess my armigers are sticking around, boys.
Alright,
So your faction gives you. So Oath of Moment, but they talk about that more later. And then the detachment gives you 6 unique stratagems, as well as those from the main rulebook.
So
And then 4,
12
and then
strats?
yes, instead of 50,
Ugh, I was really hoping for like 2.
as well as
Amen.
4.
My brain hurts after this edition, the last 2 editions.
As well as 4 exclusive enhancements for your characters.
That
Yeah,
just
it
sounds
seems like
stratagems with more steps.
Well, what it sounds
No.
like is they've gotten rid of the idea of relics and warlord traits, and now you just have an enhancement.
Sure,
I wonder if
Enhanced.
they combine the 2
That'd be cool.
I'd be fine with that.
and just called it an enhancement.
Right, that would be fine.
Yeah, it's less bookkeeping.
Yeah, because when you go to the picking units, you can pick at least 1 character, max of 1 of each epic hero, and the new edition's not out yet, and that's already a little bit confusing.
Well, though I'm sure they'll just be labeled. I'm sure like each card will just be labeled. This is an epic hero, or there'll be a
No,
list.
that's what I mean. So does it mean one each, so you can only take one Guilliman, or can you only take one each of something that has the epic keyword, epic hero keyword?
I read it as you can take one epic hero.
I read it as you can take you can only take one Guilliman, but you can take Guilliman and Calgar.
See, that's what I'm talking about. We're not even in the new edition yet.
Oh, whatever.
Well, we'll see. They're really very clear. So it just becomes whether any named character is the super heroic character.
Is epic hero.
And we also haven't seen the actual rule. This is just a preview.
Yeah, there's just a Warcom article, So.
And then up to 3 of the same data sheet, which is we've always seen. And then up to 6 of the same battle line or dedicated transport. So.
All right. 12 rhinos. Here I come.
The assumption is battle line is basically troops, what we used to call troops.
15 drop pods.
And then each character can only have 1 enhancement. And you can't include more than 3 for total, and they all must be different.
So, Warlord traits. This sounds exactly like Warlord traits and relics.
Yeah.
Just probably combined in some way.
And then after all that, then you choose the Warlord.
Okay.
And it has to be a character.
Okay.
That's it.
All right.
Easy,
Sounds
right?
good.
Easy peasy.
I mean, I'm liking what I hear.
Sounds good so far.
Yeah, I mean, we'll have to see how everything actually works and how it's actually worded, but yeah, I am cautiously optimistic that this is a easier and better edition. But I reserve final judgment.
I mean, yeah, I'm excited in the same way that I was excited going from 7th to 8th, because and I know hindsight makes that more of a sarcastic remark, but I remember just at the end of but at the end of 7th, it was just things kind of felt stale, and it just felt like you were kind of in the vicious cycle of how you ran things and how you played things, and just it didn't feel like you were really doing anything different anymore.
Every army needed 3 Riptides.
Mm-hmm. I still think they do. But this feels very different. This feels fundamentally different. And I don't, different doesn't always mean good, but I'm excited for it, and I'm excited to try it.
Different does not always mean good. Just ask the Florida legislature.
Oh my God. Speaking of different, we also saw the new Terminator sculpts.
Yeah, they look cool.
As John is building 30 Terminators, or painted 30 Terminators.
I mean, there's another 10 up there on that shelf, plus characters.
Yeah, I think they look nice. I found it interesting that they said that Primaris or Firstborn can fit in the Terminator armor all of a sudden. So.
Yeah, that's so you can mix and match.
Yeah.
And it does not matter. I can still buy the new Terminators for Edwin's Deathwing, and you can build them and paint them, and we can play them alongside these ones and mix them all together, and it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Everything's the same.
I think it's also a smart move in that a lot of the Space Marines Codex has been Primarisified, right? So you had the original, the Trueborn version, and now there's the Primaris version. You have the Trueborn version of this, now there's the Primaris version. Right. You had the Predator, and now you have the Gladius, these kind of evolutions. And, I think there were some rumors circulating that there's, new Primaris Terminators, and, what does that mean? And when I was first thinking of that, I was like, okay, they're probably just going to make super bulky, heavily armored Gravis type Primaris with thunderhammers and shields, kind of looking like Terminators but not. And I'm actually really happy that's not what they did.
Same.
And they just took Terminators, they scaled them up a bit, and said, here they are. This is one of the most iconic units in the entire Space Marine Codex. It is staying. And by the way, because the armor is so badass, it doesn't matter who's inside it.
Yeah, I definitely like that approach better.
Because then it also, because then you get to keep both.
Yep.
And then eventually, when 10 years from now, when Trueborn are actually all out of the Codex because they've done it long and slow and dry enough to where no one's noticed the frog boiling technique. You still get to keep your really cool Terminators that are just such a core design of what 40K is.
I agree, and I think that was the intent too.
Mm-hmm.
Because so many people have Terminators, and they are so iconic. Like, you can't get rid of Terminators. Like, it doesn't. That would not make any sense whatsoever.
Yeah, it would not.
Cool enough that I was thinking about building a Space Marine army.
What? Heretic.
Well, I mean
that was fleeting, and I'm already over it.
Oh, okay, good.
There you go.
He's fapped since. He's good.
Yeah.
But I mean, what you could do is you could get these and then just replace the heads with Chaos Terminators heads.
Yeah.
You could Chaosify these pretty easily, I'd imagine.
The heads are probably not the same size as the sculpts. I think they did a size comparison with the Chaos ones, and they are bigger. But I'm sure there are plenty of people who will 3D print that.
Oh yeah, I mean, that's going to be a 3D print.
Yeah, heads and shoulder pads there, Chaos and all kinds of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. The other thing we saw was if you watch the video, looked like there are a few new things like Apothecary and Primaris armor, new Librarian, a couple new Danny would have known on the bugs.
New Tyranids.
We saw before the
models.
We're talking about the cinematic.
The cinematic.
The cinematic, yeah. So there's like a Duma Malantai style, like floating psychic brain bug. Looks like maybe a new Lictor. Some kind of middle ground between Warrior and Carnifex. Definitely looks like a new sculpt for the Screamer Killer Carnifex.
Right.
So there's God, they can't do this to me. World Eaters and then Tyranids. It's just
they're gonna.
I can't afford this.
I'm never going to financially recover.
Never going to financially recover from this.
Yeah.
I just think of the Norman Osborn meme of Willem Dafoe, like, Danny, when GW releases World Eaters and Nids, you can't do this to me.
Pretty much. It's just like, well,
I mean, you don't need food.
I could do crime, No, I need food. I like to eat. I think crime.
The secret ingredient is crime.
Yeah, that's how Danny's going to fund his armies. Because we also got to look at
these prices keep going up. That's how we're all going to be funding these armies.
Yeah. So that, and then we still have Shatterpoint coming out in June. We don't know when the new edition's coming out, but if it's anything like the previous editions, it's going to come out late June, early July, probably.
Yeah.
Which is what happens when Shatterpoint comes out, Danny.
It's late July.
Shatterpoint is June.
God damn it.
Amazing.
Save money.
So, yeah. I know I'm going to buy for Shatterpoint the Lord Dooku with his guard. And then when Grievous comes out, I have Grievous and his super battle droids.
Nice. That's
gonna be my team.
I thought there was gonna be Baby Yoda and Mandalorian. How they have them and the dead dudes in the same universe?
It's the same game, not necessarily the same. Apparently, you can mix.
Can I play Baby Yoda against Count Fufu
when it comes out? Yes.
Yeah, I think you can play against a team from a different era, but you can't build your own team with models from different eras.
Oh, this is just ruining my narrative. I don't enjoy that at all. How dare they let people do that? Play each other, have fun. Ridiculous. Oh. Stick to the lore. What is this, George Lucas?
And then I don't know when the giant Apatosaurus.
Battle of Apatosaurus.
Yeah, Battle of Apatosaurus for Conquest comes out, John.
Yeah. I'm definitely going to get that. I don't care. I don't even care. I used to watch that show where the people rode on the back of the dinosaurs. And
You mean Dino Riders?
Dino Riders. I had Dino Rider toys. Should have kept my Dino Rider toy. I could just have a whole conquest.
Hell yeah, they were awesome.
I'm assuming Danny wants to get the Triceratop Riders.
I mean,
Under Cavalry.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who would not want an army where they're literally riding dinosaurs? Did you not have a childhood? If you don't want that army, did you not have a childhood?
Honestly, it actually just makes me think of that old huge illustrated book, Dinotopia. Did you guys ever read that?
Yeah.
Yep.
That was a classic.
Yep.
Well, back to 40K. We also saw the new loadout for the Redemptor in that cinematic.
Oh yeah.
Last cannon and last cannon
missile launcher.
Classic.
Last cannon, yeah.
Which is why the first watch through, all I thought was, oh cool, they have the OG Dreadnought in this video. That's nice.
Yeah.
And then the second time I watched, I was like, oh, that's a Redemptor? That's lame.
I could just see that meeting of like it's like a sketch where like GW corporate's meeting with all the different Space Marines, and they're like, Terminators, you guys are great. You guys are sticking around. We're gonna give you some new paint. You know, we're gonna clean you up. You guys are like, oh, thanks, man. You see like the little baby Dreadnought in the corner, and it's like, hey, so what about us? New Redemptor walks in with like the missiles and last cannon. Oh shit. Was I here early?
Yeah. Basically. That's how I thought it was.
Yeah, baby dreads are not long for this world. Which I'm fine with in some ways, because I do love the Redemptor sculpt.
Except I have like 4 of the or 5 of the baby dreads.
Oh. All of mine are Chaos baby dreads or Hell Brutes, so.
Yeah.
I mean, unless it's Space Wolves, you don't see the box dreads anywhere. Usually.
Well, yeah, 3 of mine are Space Wolf ones, so that's
yeah.
Fine.
Well, that's because Bjorn is one of them, and then you have the wolf in one.
Watch, they're gonna do an article. Bjorn has crossed the Rubicon Primary.
Oh my god!
Even though he's already dead, but now he's in a Redemptor suit. He got resurrected, but then died again, and they put him in a Redemptor chassis.
They'll just say that his Dreadnought chassis got too damaged, but he wasn't dead, so they put him in a Redemptor.
Yeah, easy peasy.
Yeah.
Bjorn was too angry to die, therefore Redemptor.
Yeah. Like, I understand the fluff originally was that, oh yeah, Primaris Marines have to go in Redemptor Dreadnoughts. Why?
Why not?
Could they bigger?
Yeah, why can't you just like, hey, this dude's already dead. Can we just take his cradle and put it in this bigger Dreadnought?
No, see, that's it.
Why?
That's
he doesn't have the keyword.
No, it's because the original Dreadnoughts have AVI ports, but Redemptors have HDMI, so it doesn't. It just doesn't work.
Look, if I can get an adapter for the back of my computer.
They haven't found the adapter STC yet, John.
Yeah, John.
They can't convert that yet.
I'm sure Call could just make one. He's a heretic, right?
Well, yeah.
Basically. I still love that scene where Gilliman's talking to the Call AI, and he's like, "You're not really an AI, right? Nope, just a dumb robot. Beep boop."
Yeah. No, nothing. Move along. Nothing to see here.
Yeah, you're being awfully logical for something that's supposed to be just a replica.
Garrett Quinn says, Bjorn has no clue what's going on. Just put him in the throne. Poor Bjorn.
Oh, pure Bjorn.
Pure Bjorn.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens. I don't know. I mean, for almost all of us have been through this before, so. I did write an article advising people to buy 2 of everything if they don't have already.
It's nice to have options. I mean, although, God, I hope there's something like randomly OP with like, what's their names? Toxicreens, because I have 2 of those and I love it. And I'd love a reason to get a 3rd one. Which is also my favorite moment of the cinematic in the where the Terminators drop and the 2 Toxicreens that are currently eating Space Marines like both do the whoop and start and look at the Terminators dropping.
Oh yeah.
It was it's things like that I wish GW leaned into more of, like this is grimdark, ultra-violent bullshit, but it's also supposed to be funny, right?
Yeah.
Like, it's supposed to have humor in it.
It's true.
Yeah.
It's true.
And it doesn't have to just be from the orcs.
Like,
dare
everyone
you,
can
sir.
kind of... Everyone can join in.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, we'll see. I don't know. Like, what are your guys' thoughts in general, just about the new edition and what they've said so far?
I'm hopeful.
You're muted, Danny. You're still muted.
Nope.
Oh, no, I'm not moving.
There you
but...
go.
There we go.
I know. We've heard the song and dance before, right? Like, 9th edition was supposed to be the most streamlined edition ever.
I mean, technically it was for a while.
It was.
And then it wasn't.
I think it is a little bit of a feels bad that they're like, hey, we're going to indexes again. The rules will be free until your codex drops.
Yep.
And it's like, well, okay, if you're really going to embrace this, why not? And, you know, there's ways they can still make money, because I understand codexes is money for them because they print them, they're cheap, they're easy to put out, and they charge $60, right? Like, I get that it's a business model. I feel like they could maintain some semblance of that and probably be equally profitable, if not more profitable, by going to a fully digital rule set and releasing art books and lore books that people will gobble up, right? Besides actually pushing people into using the app and signing up for Warhammer Plus and all these other, you know, it gets people in, right? So if nothing else, is like a loss leader. Like, they should see their rules more as a loss leader than as like an actual, like, we make bank off this. So, you know, but generally speaking, the beginning of an edition is the most fun, right? The first year of an edition is usually the most fun because things are generally in control and it's the Wild West. There's not really a stable meta. So, like, I'm looking forward to that, you know.
That's how we got 7 flyers.
Yeah, right.
Oof.
AR Quinn says, as long as they make the CSM codex first so they suck later, he's good.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, well, I feel bad when I know, like, oh, it's going to be Marines, and then Tyranids, oh, we suck again, oh no.
Yeah, we'll see who the first books are. They'll probably be Marines.
Yeah, it's like the reverse of an NFL draft. You don't want to be first.
Unless you get something stupid broken that they never bother to fix.
Well, they're a bit more responsive now.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think going to data sheets and, like, actually putting all the rules there is good. If there's not 100 damn USRs, that's good, right? Like, Plain Horse Heresy 7th edition has, between the weapons and everything else, there's almost 100 specific USRs, and that's a nightmare. But if there's like 10 or 15, that's fine. That's relatively easy to memorize. And then having all of the kind of necessary rules on the unit card, great.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome.
Okay.
Yeah, Pocono Pete saying it doesn't sound like the rules and data sheets are requiring codexes.
I bet they will. There's going to be some, like, Angels of Death or these kind of generic rules for the codex that aren't going to be explained on the cards. But I mean, also Wahapedia and other such sources exist, so I think it actually makes it less necessary to buy a codex unless you want the lore or whatever. I mean,
I think they did kind of mention that about, like, you don't have to buy the books if you don't want to, because they're going to print the data cards to sell also. But I can't find the article where they said that.
Interesting.
I remember them saying that in the stream, actually. So it's like, I think it would be something like they're going to release a whole bunch of data cards when we go to the index mode, and then as codexes drop, you'll have a codex and index cards. Because at the end of the day, too, right? Like, the whole point is, I'm only bringing 5 units. I don't want to bring a whole book. I just want to bring my cards. So they would release updated cards, and I'm thinking that's what they'll do. Again, it would just be so much better if they did everything digitally, but
I mean, I don't know. I didn't really hear a lot of the stream itself since I was watching it via the Honest Wargamers stream because I enjoyed that commentary more. So, I think I saw KR there. I was watching too. But yeah, we'll see. Like I said, I for people who have maybe maybe it's your first time, which with our viewership, I doubt it. But maybe this is only your second or third edition change. Like it can be choppy. There's there's usually something, but honestly, the first year is generally really exciting. And it's a great time to play and especially do events because you just see such random stuff. So it's a great way to kind of get out there and just experience when a meta hasn't been solved yet, which is really nice.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it, especially because it's almost like a clean slate, even though I did buy World Eaters Codex recently. So,
and now they just sit in the box.
Yeah.
Well, at least you got the artwork and the lore, right?
Sure. But the fact that it's all going to be available day one is nice. It makes ACO interesting because we don't know when the release date is. So
as inconvenient as possible. That would be my guess. That's the way.
So it's
2 weeks before.
And the cutoff for ACO is 1 week, basically the week before. So if it comes out the week before, probably use it. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll have to discuss that. But we'll see. We don't know the dates, so if it comes out after, then we're still using 9th edition. So we'll see. But it is a question for a lot of TOs around that time, since June, July, there are a number of large tournaments around that time. But even that being said, I'm still looking forward to it and seeing which of my old models that have been gathering dust for a number of years become much better. I'm hoping vehicles become much better. They mentioned that the lethality of the game is dialed down, and that vehicles might be a little bit more survivable. So, hoping I can bring back my Land Raider, my Chaos Space Marine Land Raider. I kind of like how the strength and toughness, or the strength and the ballistic skill and weapon skill, are now on the sheets, the weapon profiles.
Mm-hmm.
So you don't have to do too much math, like for a Thunder Hammer or a Power Fist, because they can just tell you where what the weapon skill is for using the Power Fist, as opposed to saying it's -1.
Yeah, not to mention which, I feel like if you do it that way too, I feel like balancing will be easier, because sometimes it's not a problem of like the unit being able to do too much. Maybe it's like a specific piece of war gear they have access to, or a specific
Right.
thing. So partitioning certain things out like that, I feel like will only make game balance easier to accomplish. But you don't have to take my word for it.
Axis of Entry is saying that he's really excited for 10th edition. He's painting again for the first time.
Nice.
What are you doing anything for 10th edition, Tom?
I mean, the most that I could see myself doing would be finishing or actually creating the Dark Angels army that I have. So it's like I went through the other day what I actually have, and I have some Intercessors. I have a whole bunch of Ravenwing. I have some Deathwing, and some various Dark Angels characters, including Samael. But
That's
I
right.
might. Yeah, I know, right? Well, I think at one point I was trying to do a Ravenwing army, but
Got it.
the only thing is, so like I would do that just because I want to get the Lion. That would be fun. I don't know. I might do that, but honestly, like what I might do is I might just get the Lion, for the pure purpose of having that be like a hobby project and a hobby collectible. It might be like my first true. I'm getting this and painting it because I am into the hobby.
Oh, okay.
That might be the first time I do like pure, because everything else I'd at least use on the table once. But that could be one where I'm like, yeah, I might never play this model, but I'm gonna get it. And if I do decide to play it, I'll buy a second one and hydrify it so it's alpha. It looks like Alfarius.
That's fair. I may never use this, but I have to get it because Lion.
Yeah. Well, and also because green's my favorite color, and I just love the way they did their green. So it would be more like a painting challenge too.
Oh, okay, that's cool.
But no, I think pretty much what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna play my Marines and see what happens. And I mean, it's one of those things too where after a number of years, like you're like, well, if my Marines don't work out, I could probably play. Maybe I could start. Oh wait, no, I already have that army. Well, maybe I could start. Oh wait, no, I have that army too.
Yeah,
like,
that's
like I just realized like I have like 4 or 5 armies, and I'm like, how the hell did I get all this? Let alone paint it all.
Addiction.
Mm-hmm.
Is there an over-the-counter Narcan for plastic crack?
If only.
Yeah, it's really weird when the people at the methadone clinic don't really get why I show up with dried paintbrushes and just saying I need something.
I need a fix. Sir, we can't help you. This is Wendy's.
Sir, your addiction's not chemical. Yes, it is!
Danny, what are your thoughts overall? I know you said you're excited and hopeful. John said he's optimistic, which is odd for John.
Cautiously so.
Mm-hmm.
I said cautiously so.
Cautious is what matters.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
You don't think it gives you a little bit of like slow down in playing games?
I'm going to play a bunch of games this weekend.
Well, that's what I mean.
Yeah.
So I think one of the issues that in previous, I haven't seen it in Games Workshop games. I don't know if it's because we play in tournaments or judge tournaments or what, but the best example I've seen was War Machine when they went from Mark II to Mark III. That as soon as they announced Mark III, most of the War Machine players in our area just stopped playing Mark II.
Yeah.
Danny, you would know more about this.
Oh. Are you talking about like are you talking about like what happened with 7th to 8th where like when 8th was announced everyone was just so done with 7th because I remember just not playing.
Yeah.
I mean, I still played.
I didn't.
I mean, I don't know. I think something that makes it very different is that when Mark III was announced, they were like, hey, we're doing the field test, and you can help us beta test these rules before they go live, and that really killed the scene, because it was like, well, what's the point of running these, Mark II events or going to Mark II night when when the really hardcores want to play Mark III, but like a lot of people in War Machine is like, man, I don't want to learn another rule set right now. Right? Like, and if I'm, War Machine was built around Steamroller, was built around competitive events for the most part. That's why you played War Machine. I knew very few people who played just to have a giggle. Pretty much everyone who played went to a tournament at some point. So if the tournaments are still Mark II, why would you spend reps on Mark III, right? So that really kind of killed a lot of enthusiasm, right? It's like, well, if I want to test Mark III, I'm not getting reps in for the Steamroller event I'm going to in 2 weeks, and War Machine's all about reps. So
Right.
Yeah.
I think 40K is big enough at this point, and there's a ton of match play events that keep people interested. Guard and World Eaters are still new, so people want to play with those, and it's not that far away, right? Like, it really isn't. It's a couple months, most likely 3 months at the most, right? 3 or 4 months. So
Yeah.
I think it'll be fun. I think it'll be fine, and we may see some downtick in events, but I don't think it'll be that much. Like, I really don't think it's going to be a really, like, I don't think it's going to do any real damage the way Mark III did to Mark II and War Machine.
I don't even think it's going to be like 7th to 8th where everybody was just kind of done. Like, I feel like people are kind of over 9th, but like They're still playing. They're still having
People still playing.
They're still playing new stuff. So.
Well, and I think part of the reason that like desire to keep playing is happening is because of arcs, right?
Yeah.
So like when 7th to 8th was happening, we were in formation land and janky broken shit, and it was just like, all right, well, based on who I got paired up with, I've lost. So why am I doing this? But Arcs of Omen's kind of like, it was kind of their way of saying, hey, this is what the new edition's kind of gonna be like, and also here's a fun sandbox to play in. Just go play with your toys, have fun, just go play.
Yeah,
that's what I feel like the Arcs of Omen kind of really is. Man, I have to get that Farsight model. Fuck.
Nah.
Damn it.
I don't know. I don't know how. I think I'm really hoping the terrain rules are much better.
Yes.
Me too.
Because after having been to Adepticon and seeing the large impact sparse terrain has with Votann and Guard, they're out of the 16, the top 3 were Guard, going into the round of 16.
Guard are super good on non-sparse tables, so
yeah.
Like,
so that's really my biggest concern. The game seems good now, but only in areas, in tournaments, I should say, that have like sufficient terrain. And like I said, having been to Adepticon and seen the terrain and the issues the terrain cause for non-guard, non-Votann, non-shooting armies, I'm hoping that with 10th that they fix the terrain issue.
Yeah, that would be good. So, terrain needs something totally different
because they can streamline and make, and simplified, not simple, or whatever their new slogan is.
Mm-hmm.
They can do all that, but if the terrain is still the same, we're going to have the same issues.
True.
So,
good point.
Yeah. Kara Quinn also said secondaries are going to be big too. Like, just making sure secondaries work. Because that was a big problem for a while.
Well, we don't know what the match play missions or missions in general look like at all.
Yeah, like who knows? Like
secondaries.
Yeah, like whatever the hell, right?
It could be kill one, kill more, hold one, hold more.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, why not, right? Or next week. And next week we're going to talk about Maelstrom cards. What?
They're bringing back First Blood. First Blood, Slay the Warlord.
Oh God.
What was it, Linebreaker?
They can't bring back something that they never had.
Nice. Also, along the lines of something.
I don't understand why everybody's like nice. That's literally true. There's never their mission mechanics.
No, I know.
So you can't bring back something that wasn't theirs. It's not a knock. It's just the way it is.
Night fight. Oh my God. Kara Quinn mentioned night fighting.
Ooh, but yeah, they should bring back night. That would help with the turn one with the shooting.
Oh man. But nobody ever remembered to do it.
When they rolled up against my Tau army, they did. Which is funny because you were saying First Blood, Slay the Warlord. I was thinking of all these ways I used to score points with Tau.
But that's why those rules, though, Tom, were like
God, I was strong.
Good. It's because people were like, "Oh, it's Tau. Oh yeah, night fight." They're like, "Okay, did you use night fight last game? No. Did you roll?"
And then I'd be like,
"No." Okay.
And then I'd be like. And then I would always be like, oh, okay, well, and like we'll roll for it and like go through the rigmarole, and they'll be like, and then I'll start shooting and I won't be minusing anything, and they'll be like, what the hell? And I'll be like, oh yeah, all of my shit has visors. They're all battle suits. That has the keyword I ignore night fight. So, you want to leave now?
Yeah. So that's my real concern. I mean. And obviously, whatever rules, questions, or issues that come up, that's always the thing. But I think it's like that with any game. So
terrain's a big thing. Like the terrain needs serious work.
As long as we don't have to buy new terrain or get new terrain.
Well, that's the thing. It needs to be designed so that it works with what people have, not designed to work with what GW makes.
Yeah. So. All right, I think that's enough of 10th edition talk for now because we'll see more previews as the weeks come on.
Yeah, we'll have years to talk about 10th edition while we play it.
Yeah.
Sure.
As if you haven't guessed, our GT is this weekend for Battle for LA. We are currently at 70 players, I think.
My God.
Currently
70
painting.
players signed up.
Currently painting as fast as possible.
So we'll see. We'll see how many actually show up. It might be the largest showing we've ever had. So
It might be the
crossed.
largest drop rate we've ever had.
yeah, it could be that too.
You don't know.
There
Good.
aren't any questions in the Patreon.
Did you ever get Alan added?
Alan took Ish's ticket.
Oh, okay. So Alan added himself.
Yes.
Excellent. Just look
So-
out for him is all, you know? Somebody's got to look
We'll
out
see.
for that guy.
We'll see how it goes. Looking forward to it. It's a lot of work tomorrow, Friday. So
Ooh, the lists are up.
yeah.
Are they?
Yeah.
How many assholes are playing Deathwing?
Iron Hands.
Yeah, I know there's 2 other Iron Hands players. I'm playing Iron Hands.
Boo.
Of course you are.
Because I'm not good at this game. We've established this.
Yeah,
That's why I
I have
played
no
Iron Hands.
problem. I have no problem with Tom playing Iron Hands. Didn't I beat you with the Deathwing? I did, right? In that one practice game, I won by like a point. 'Cause
I think
you
it
weren't
was really
you
close.
did.
Yeah.
You weren't aggressive enough.
Yeah.
Yeah. My problem is I'm either pedal to the metal or I don't hit the gas, and I don't know how to not do that.
Excuse me. How do aggressive?
How do knowing when to play game right?
That's great.
The number of World Eaters players, though.
Well, we have a lot of chaos in our meta.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised by
That's
that.
true. Oh, Oscar's going to be there. Oscar.
I'm gonna see him tomorrow night. I gotta go to the GW store and pick up my box.
Go,
My Vash store.
go get my box. Oh, is that the one you're splitting with Danny?
Yeah, so it's his Vash store too.
I'm Bash Door.
Well, his Vash store, my Dark Angels.
Mm.
Actually, not even mine. Edwin wanted the box.
Oh.
See, there you go.
Yeah, we were watching the preview, and he's like, "Okay, we're getting the lion." I'm like, "Yeah, I know." You don't have to convince me of that one, dude.
Yeah, you're like, bro?
He's like, "I can have 30k lion and regular lion, right?" I'm like, "Yes, you can."
So,
Son,
we
I've
have
never
lion
been
at
more
home.
proud.
Lion
Yeah,
at home.
light it.
yeah, so we have that going on. I think that's where we'll call it. We'll see what else. We'll see what other tidbits they feed us, and we'll talk more about it in a couple of weeks. I will be at again Battle for LA at Gameology, who's one of our sponsors. Gameology Pasadena. You can go to their website, gameologygames.com. And they will send out your product. They actually have a web store. Our other sponsor is Hammerhead. So Hammerhead Games. Just go to hammerheadgames.net or look for the Shark Tank on Facebook. They always have deals and events going on. Also,
Yep.
We did mention we are part of the Frontline Gaming Network affiliate program. So if you go to the show notes, there's an affiliate link. Just click on the link, buy something, and we get a little of that. So that always helps. And there's a number of. They haven't put out the. I don't think they put out the post yet listing what other shows are on there. But I know our show, Pod Save the Imperium, and Party of the All Points are all part of the network. So
Nice. Very nice.
Rockin'.
and I believe that is it.
All right.
Danny,
Yo.
you have any last words for the evening?
Play games, be nice to each other, and I I apologize for nothing this weekend.
No, Jesus.
Fair enough.
Tom, late to the party, but any last words for tonight?
Hey, you know what? Just wanted to be like the lion. He was late to the party. Didn't land as well as it did in my head, so there you go.
That's totally fair.
John,
Yes.
please save us from Tom's comments. Any last words?
Yeah, if you don't use this stuff to do your basing, you should totally use it.
What is it?
This is the Vallejo Earth texture stuff. This is black
amazing.
lava asphalt.
Okay.
But I also use the industrial mud one. Yeah, these things, it's just amazing.
Industrial mud. I've used that one. I'm using European mud right now, which is a
that's
little
a good one, too.
smoother, but that's a good one.
Yeah,
I think I like industrial mud better.
Because it's a little thicker. But yeah, like if you're not using these, you totally should. They are
Yeah.
awesome. With this one, I literally just dry brush gray for the asphalt.
Mm-hmm.
With the other one, I ink it, then I just dry brush it some bone, and like it's the best.
Oh yeah,
Sure.
you can get like a stellar looking base with like zero effort.
Yep.
It's amazing.
All right, well, that's it, Jeff and John. All right, well, thank you, everybody, for listening. We'll see you in a couple weeks. Good night, and have a pleasant tomorrow.
See you later.
Laters.